Previously we have discussed about the possibility of the electric field due to dipole on their line joining, and then we discussed it on the perpendicular bisector. Now at any point having r distance from the center of the dipole, but this line joining is neither along AB nor perpendicular to AB, so it's a general point, right? Then first of all we will discuss about potential at P. Potential at P. Now as this line joining OP is neither along AB nor along perpendicular to AB, that means with respect to this point at a distance r, you can take how many points? Infinite points taken on a circular locus. If you think about drawing a circle, taking the center of the dipole as the geometrical center of the circle, then there can be infinite possible position of P. All of them can have a distance r from the center, right? So out of those infinite points on a plane of the dipole along with this radius vector, to locate a specific point P, one out of those infinite possibility appearing along the circular locus, you need to confirm one out of them by confirming the geometrical angle formed by the line joining OP with AOB line, because at one particular theta there can be one absolute location of P. If you change the location of P maintaining r distance, then obviously theta will differ, right? So to locate a point P at any general point, you have to consider two parameters. One is the magnitude of the separation of OP, that is r, and you also need to consider the angular position of the line joining OP with respect to the line AOB. Am I clear? Now to know potential at P, we need to use these absolute distances. We need to use these absolute distances from plus q and minus q charges, distance of plus q from P and minus q from P. See, L being, since r is much greater than L, therefore being this is small in length, means angle APO and angle BPO are very small angles. Do you agree with me or not? Angle APO and angle BPO, very small angle. So since these are very small angle, it is difficult to say the absolute length of AP simply by comparing with OP. But if we extend the line of PO, and then being these two angles are very small, unequal angles, let D alpha, D beta, let very small angles are concerned, I can drop perpendiculars from A on the extended part of PO as well as on PO from B. So let the foot of perpendicular being chosen as M and N, foot of the perpendiculars chosen from M and N, then I can write down using geometry using geometry, can I write down AM is equal to PM and PB is equal to PN? Could you understand? Because we know that in the geometry of circle, when the arc, a small arc subtends a small angle, right? When a small part of the circular arc subtends a small angle, then these two different tangents at the ends of the arc can converge into one, provided when the angle subtended by the arc becomes very small. If I reduce the length of DL, if I start reducing the length of DL, so this point will start moving this way, this point will start moving this way, isn't it or not? So these two different tangents will gradually move in opposite direction, and at some times these two tangents can be observed to be merged at a one single line, and these two both appears perpendicular.
Yes, sir.
The same mechanism I am using here. If I am using d alpha is a small angle, d beta is a small angle, then dropping perpendicular from A on the extended line of PO such that M is the foot of perpendicular, then this line can be treated to be the length of the arc which is perpendicular at one radial part, and it is almost equivalent to 90 degree on another part. So length of the arc, this can be treated to be the length of the arc of the circle, provided these two are the radial line. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Based on which I can say this must be equal to this and this must be equal to this, as because the angles subtended are very small angles. So now this AM, not AM, I have written it wrong, it is AP. AP is equal to PM, so geometrically it was taken theta, so this is theta again. So this much must be written as L cos theta. This one also should be L cos theta. Clear? So therefore AP, which is equal to PM, PM can further be written as PO plus OM. P to M is P to O plus O to M. P to O is R plus O to M is L cos theta. Clear? Similarly, PB is equal to length of PN, and that PN can be written PO minus ON. P to N that can be written P to O minus O to N. P to O is R minus ON is again L cos theta. So the individual distances of the charged particles of the dipole plus q and minus q is now defined how far they are apart from the general point P, which was taken at a distance r along the line joining OP. Once I know the length of AP and PB, it is now simple for me to express the net potential at P due to this plus q and minus q charge of the dipole. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So therefore we can write down potential at P, that can be written 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It is Q divided by R plus L cos theta minus Q divided by R minus L cos theta. Taking Q common, this is Q by 4 pi epsilon 0. You can simplify it, that is R minus L cos theta minus of R minus of L cos theta whole divided by R square minus L square cos square theta. So again, from the numerator part we can cancel out R, so it will be minus 2L cos theta, right, divided by R square minus L square cos square theta. So for a given value of theta, again R is much greater than what? L. So denominator can be written R square. So it is Q into minus 2L cos theta minus 2L cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 into R square, because we can ignore the L square cos square theta as because L is much less than that of R. So could you follow this expression? So this is again Q into 2L can be written as the dipole moment P. So potential at the general point P is appearing minus of P, that is Q into 2L, that into cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. This is the general expression of potential at a point P, which is making an angle theta with the dipole axis AB and at a distance R from the center of the dipole. Got my point? So this is the general expression of potential at P. So there can be many such points P at a same distance R. If you take another point P somewhere here taking the same distance R, this time obviously theta will change. So potential at this position, the result will be something different. That means this circular locus cannot be known as equipotential surface. Like if you remember, if we discuss about a circular locus or a spherical locus with respect to one fixed charge at the center, all points on the circumference of the circle or all points on the surface of a spherical enclosure, potential becomes same. In case of a single point charge placed at the center, the potential at each and every point on a circular circumference or on a spherical enclosure, potential is find same. So that's why all points are said to be equipotential points, and that is the reason why no electric field does exist along the tangential line in case of circular or spherical enclosure for one point charge. But when you consider a circular enclosure with respect to the center of electric dipole, then all points on the circumference, those who are equidistant from the center of the dipole, they are not equipotential point, because that those points depends on this theta. And you can see, if you can take constant r distance, but theta won't be constant then. So that's why this enclosure cannot be an equipotential surface. Could you follow? That is the reason why there is a possibility of getting electric field lines both along the line joining OP as well as along perpendicular to OP. Electric field at the point P will be available both along the line joining OP as well as along perpendicular to OP. Now let's discuss how. So see, as this dipole we got a potential, so along the line joining OP we can find one electric field, and for that theta will be constant, R will be variable. And if we take electric field lines, see for plus charge it will repel this way, and for minus charge it will attract this way. So electric field lines can be found to be existing as a function of theta along the tangential line of P. Got my point? So if I draw another phase diagram, let this is be a phase diagram to understand about the electric field due to dipole at a general point P on the line joining. If this is P, so one electric field as a function of R variable where theta is constant, and another one will be this way, and this time it will be the change in theta and R is constant, so this one will be represented by E of theta. Clear? So there are two cases. Case 1, when theta is constant, and R is variable. Clear? Then electric field at P along OP, electric field at P along OP is given by E as a function of R, and that will be written as minus of dV by dr. Got my point? That time the electric field along the line joining the radial distance will be written by minus of dV by dr. That means it is minus of d dr, and the dV expression was how much? It was minus dipole moment into cos theta divided by, what was the expression? 4 pi epsilon naught r square, isn't it? Do you remember? This is the last expression we did. The potential at P, the dipole moment into, okay, this is the dipole moment into cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Now, as I have written at theta is constant, so cos theta part constant, so it can be taken out of the integration. So entire numerator and this much part of the denominator is constant. So with negative sign I can take it out. So it will be P cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. The differentiation will be done for 1 by r square, that is r to the power minus 2. This part can be differentiated as it is derivative of r is variable. That means at the same angle theta, if we take different point P along this line, so electric field will be existing, that is potential along this line will vary based on change of r. What will be the differentiation of this? Minus 2 into r to the power minus 3, isn't it or not? That means it will be minus of p into cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught. We can write down 2 by r cube. Yes or no? R to the power minus 2 on differentiating with respect to r using the general formula x to the power n. How much we can write down? We can write down minus 2 into r to the power minus 3. Minus 2, minus I have taken out, so 2 by r cube. Clear? Could you follow this thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can now understand the electric field possibility along the line joining OP, which will be magnitudically this.
Yes.
Fine. Now discussing about the electric field for the case number 2. Now for case 2, when r is constant and theta is variable. When r is constant, theta is variable, that means as I said that there is a possibility of circular locus. Is it clear now? When you maintain r is constant, theta is variable, so p varies. P means position P, or rather point P. Point P varies along circular locus. Could you follow this? P varies along circular locus. So when P varies along circular locus, you can see I can write down E of theta, this E of theta, so it should be again minus of dV by the gradient has to be taken along the direction of the electric field lines. So this gradient can be written dl. Don't write dl because L we use for this term, so we will get confused. Rather, can we write down this is r d theta? This is the arc length of a circular circumference. Arc of a circular circumference can be written radius into angle subtended. Could you follow me or not?
Yes, sir.
This gradient length, that can be written r d theta, so I can write down it is dv divided by r into d theta. As because r is constant, so I can keep it out, so it is minus of 1 by r into d theta of the expression. What is the expression value? Expression of potential was how much? This was the potential expression at P. So it is minus of P, that is dipole moment, into cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. As in this part, as it is in this part, r is constant, so that means I can take r square again taken out, so it will be E of theta finally comes minus of 1 by r cube, or I can, just a minute, can I clear this part to express the next step of calculation? So to express E of theta, I can write down minus of 1 by r cube. R cube means 1 by r was there, so this by r square can also be taken out, into p divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, that too can be taken out being it is constant. So only the variable is cos theta, so d of cos theta with respect to d theta. Getting my point? Can you understand this? So therefore we can write down minus of p divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube into differentiation of cos theta is how much? Minus of sin theta. So ultimately we are getting the electric field along the circular circumference with respect to the center of the dipole, that is p into sin theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. So we have got electric field both along the radial line with respect to the circular circumference about the center of the dipole, which was this, and along the tangential line with respect to the circular circumference, this. Clear? So we have got two values of electric field at the general point at a distance r along the line joining OP. So net electric field will be the resultant of these two, which is along this. Some net electric field will be the resultant of ER and E of theta, which we can simplify in this way. So net value of the electric field, therefore resultant value of E at P point, general point, it is equal to under root of ER square plus E theta square, because these two values are coming perpendicular to each other. So ER value of the electric field was this much and E theta value is this much. So what is common in both these two? You can see dipole moment P by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, right? That is common. So we will write down under root of dipole moment by 4 pi epsilon naught into r cube. This whole square is common, that into here it will be the, even you can take minus 2 cos theta whole square plus sin square theta from the other part. From this part the uncommon value is sin theta, and here it is minus 2 cos theta. So finally I can write down dipole moment P divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r cube into under root of, simplifying it is 4 cos square theta plus sin square theta. One value of cos square theta adding with sin square theta can be written 1. So ultimately it is 1 plus 3 cos square theta. So net value of electric field is dipole moment P divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube into under root of 1 plus 3 cos square theta. So this is the net electric field at any general point at a distance r, making an angle theta with the line joining the dipole axis is this one. Got my point? So this is the way we can understand about the electric field at any general point. So today we have discussed about all three cases to find out the potential as well as the electric field in case of an electric dipole. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine.